Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. So, we got a really good topic today, as they all have been in the series. So, we're going to be talking about redefining the strength in the man. Now, they told us that strength means silence, and they also told us that strength meant never bending, never crying, and making sure that you never ask for help. But we have reached a point in our lives as men where there are times where we need the constructive help to help us move forward. But what if that definition of strength that we're so called supposed to be looking for out here, just what if that definition of strength is the very thing breaking men today? And that is what we need to talk about and discuss here on the channel. So as I get into it here, I want you to keep a couple of things in mind, because we definitely need to make sure that we're hitting all the different points in the story. Okay, so we definitely need to be getting into the nitty gritty of this topic. Now, when you look back in the day, the old definition for generations, as we have moved through our society, strength was most definitely equated to just with overall toughness that men are having to have and they have to go through. But that toughness meant that you had no opportunity to cry if you so needed to. That also meant that you don't have the opportunity to never ask for help. But what if that definition of strength, and what if you don't complain or you don't stop? Like, what is the end goal? What are we trying to accomplish here? And that's what we are obviously missing a lot of. Now, men who open up back in the day were often labeled weak. They were often casted out of the masculine circles that they were involved in. Remember from the last episode, I was just talking about brotherhood, and brotherhood being a part of growing up to becoming a man. You have a group of men who could provide some useful insights, some useful information to you out there as you're going through the things that you are having to deal with in your life. But that vulnerability that we so-called have out here was considered a flaw instead of a sign of humanity. And so when we're looking at the old ways of us doing things, the problem with that specific model, if we have to look at it, is true strength is discipline. And then you also have to look at that, sometimes the way that we look at things, it's just like men are suffering. They're suffering a lot because of their suppressed emotions. Those suppressed emotions are leading to anger. They're leading to depression. They're leading to broken relationships. And how can you be well if your mind is not right? Now, as you look at this, you have to understand that the definition of strength, whether we're looking at it from a dictionary, you're getting it from somebody you know, somebody who's giving you wisdom, the definitions of strength helped men endure, but it also left an opportunity to leave men empty, because they had nobody to refer to. They had nobody to talk back to. And that's where we are missing in our society today. So when you hear the term redefining strength, that doesn't have to always equate to taking the definition of something and twisting it to fit the narrative that you want. But redefining means that we're looking at it from a specific angle and a specific vantage point, and we're able to basically sharpen the edges and make sure that everything is clean, is clear, and is understandable. And it's in a way that people can actually see and reveal the truth that they need to reveal behind it. When we start redefining things, sometimes the word redefining means that we're trying to rewrite the definitions. And we're not trying to rewrite the definitions. The goal of the channel is not to rewrite the definitions. It is simply merely to get a clear vantage point of understanding with no flaws of what we need to do to ensure that we are in the correct side of this battle. Now, when you look at the model itself, men will go silent. I've heard some men say that they much prefer to be silent because they don't want their spouse or the person that they're dealing with to have the problems that they're having, and they much rather hold them on themselves. I've heard other people also saying that they have told the person that they're with or their spouse about their issues, and now everybody is messed all up in the head. Now, the way that you so choose to decide that you're going to go with that is going to be most definitely different. Some people just don't like getting into the whole mind changing game, if that makes any sense. But when we're looking at a new vision through a clear set of eyes at strength, we have to understand that that true strength is going to be much more of a heavy set of discipline that we have to take into consideration. We also have to learn how to control our actions, the way that we carry ourselves, the way that we move, and how we begin to actually see how we're moving around in society. And we don't need to be hiding our feelings as men, because as I gave you the example yesterday in in episode 4, when I was talking about bringing the manhood and the and and bringing the brotherhood back. If somebody dropped a sledgehammer on your feet, on your foot, you're going to absolutely feel that. You're going to feel it most definitely and completely. Now, when you look at broken relationships within this, broken relationships is most definitely a very big problem, because there has to be some give and take. And what I'm seeing a lot of right now is a lot of taking. You have women who would drain a man emotionally dry. He is ready to leave and move on to the next thing because he's saving himself from having those daily problems each and every day. But those broken relationships is a series of things, a series of factors that are in place that is causing people and causing the men to move in another direction because they haven't sought out the help, the constructive help that they need to figure this all out. Now, when you look at that definition of strength, you can pull it out, you can Google search it, or whatever that you have to do. But that strength that we're looking at here is wisdom, is knowing when to speak, and it's also knowing when to listen as well. Because we both have to understand that we are both people out here who need to learn how to listen and how to understand one another. Ladies, listening to your man, I'm sure he's got something that he wants to share with you, and it's your choice on whether you want to listen to that. Now, that true strength, could that be in resilience? Because if the true strength is resilience, then standing back up after failing and not pretending that you never fail. So now we are getting into those points that we absolutely need, because what this means for men today is that strength is no longer about hiding pain. So fellas, if you're out there and you're hiding your pain, you need to open it up and get help from a professional so that you can get yourself back right, because it's about carrying it with honesty and courage and with help, because you do not, under those circumstances, have to go through this alone if you want to be with someone for the rest of your life. If you're looking for marriage, this may work for you. But if not, this is a whole nother different topic, a whole nother different conversation. But the men who redefine and redefine the strength and create these spaces for healthy relationships and stronger families is that if that man wants to marry somebody's daughter, he has to be mentally right. She has to be mentally right. So hopefully the ladies are having this conversation like I'm having with men here, with the ladies, to get the ladies right, so that when you all come together, you have a healthier relationship, you have stronger families, because this shift doesn't make men weaker, it makes them whole, as we're looking at this. Now, as you overlook and see all this information that I provided for you, strength is about, or isn't about, being unbreakable, because everybody breaks at some point in time. It's just a matter of when that point actually is. But it's about building, breaking, and becoming stronger than before. And so a man who basically can come out here and he can actually embrace the truth is no longer trapped in silence, because guess what? He is actually freed from that at this time, right now. So I want you all to definitely take a look at that. And I really want you to get to know and understand what the man that you're dealing with is going through. And whether you want to be married or not, we definitely need to look at redefining that strength. So as we look more about this, we're definitely going to get into a couple of more episodes as we're getting down the line in these, because I have really enjoyed these topics so much. Because when you think about it, ladies, and we always hear ladies and fellas going back and forth with one another. Women are stronger than men. Men are stronger than women, and to each his own with your specific thought process behind that. But when you think about this and you really get down in the gutter and you understand, men, I want this to make you better. I want this to help elevate you to a level that you absolutely need. You got this. Fellas, you got this. You're not alone. You got it. So most definitely like, listen, subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can get the latest and greatest content as I continue to provide it. Definitely shoot in the comments below if you have any questions or different points. Let's get the conversation started in the comments. Look forward to talking with you all soon.